interesting anyway that two Germans in Chile speaking English.
Ja, aber du sprichst ja richtig perfekt hier, so, ne? Also,
I was
hier geboren, aber.
No, I was born and raised in. I was born in Mannheim.
Ah, really? Me too?
Yeah, Lindenhof.
Really?
Yeah.
You told me that already. I'm sure.
And but then my parents, they left from Mannheim to Lorsch, which is Bergstraße.
I know, because I'm original from the Bergstraße.
Really?
Hirschberg. And I went to school in Weinheim.
Oh, amazing.
And then, the last years I was living in Mannheim.
Okay.
And now I live in Turkey.
And so that's why I always went to Mannheim, because I love the city. And when I started DJing as well, I went to Milk in Mannheim.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, but most of the time we always went to Frankfurt. I grew up Oman.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we met in the past already. So we are from the same area then?
Yeah.
Great. So good.
But my father, he's Chilean, and he came to Chile to Germany in '62. And my sister, she still lives in Frankfurt, and but she never wanted to live in Chile because she thinks we are not that well organized.
Yeah.
You played in Paris on Saturday.
I played in Paris, but I was one night in Germany to pick up some banners for here tonight and stuff. And I stayed with my brother, and then I flew from Frankfurt in today.
Okay, was it Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Buenos
Aires, yeah. It's not easy. There is no direct flight from Frankfurt here.
No. Yeah, and it was really funny because I got aware of both of your labels through Alejandro Vivanco.
Ah, yes.
Which I know him because we DJed many times in the 90s, and we were neighbors. We lived together like in a community. And then I started researching both of your labels, and then I realized, okay, I love your both labels, and I said, oh, they're both from Mannheim, and okay, you're the owner. And then when I saw that you were coming to Chile and was playing with Francisco, and I wrote to Francisco and said,
yes,
please introduce me to Nick. I really want to meet him. And,
Francisco actually did also something in the past on 8-bit. Francisco. Dorian Raves.
He was living with us in the community.
Yes, then Alejandro, Felipe Venegas.
So ChatGPT told me that you came the first time in 2009.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good. They know it.
That's why
I couldn't answer that question.
why I remember that because in 2009, I left nightlife. I met my wife, so that was not compatible to getting married and living at night. So that's why I didn't saw when you started playing in Chile.
No, but I think one of the first nights was with Gabriel.
Yes.
And we somewhere in a football stadium, I think.
Yeah.
And then we played up there on the mountain somewhere, and then mostly with Diego, and then also with, of course, La Feria. Then the last times always. Clan, I also played. I basically plugged for all promoters so far.
You're coming, I think, at least two, 3 times a year, right?
Last year I was 3 times here, and this is also my second time already.
Because in the summer you went to Pucón, I think, right?
Pucón, Concepción, and Santiago.
Okay.
I was here in January. Yeah.
I wanted to go originally in '96 to Ibiza, but I think I was too crazy at that time, so I think it was the best thing that I didn't go. And you started your career in Karlsruhe, something, right?
It was called Vibration. Maybe you know it too. It's forced Heidesee. I mean, if you know Milk, you should know maybe this club as well. That was afterwards. It was not in Karlsruhe. It was before Karlsruhe, Bruchsal.
Okay. Yeah, I think I left.
Very funny club.
I left '92, so that's why I think I was.
Yeah, maybe it was just that time.
And did you start make music right away, or you started DJing only?
Later on, I met Gorge, which I run 8-bit with, and then we started doing music together. Or that we founded a label, and then we started doing music together. We had to open this office and the studio. Yes.
Things I think it's important. for example, like artists like you have so many experience, you have so many things you can share, because nowadays there is a bit overcrowded of DJs and producers, and I think sharing that information can be very helpful for new artists,
of course,
you know?
Of course.
Because here in Chile at the moment we have so many DJ schools, and it's like everybody wants to play, and it's difficult. And Hi everybody, this is Pascal from HouseMusik. Today we have a very special guest. I met him exactly 1 year ago when he came to play in Chile, and I got into both of his labels. They are from the city I was born in, which is Mannheim. Both labels were super important for the sound of Mannheim, and today we are very pleased to have him with us here in the studio. Nick Curley. Hi Nick, how are you doing? Welcome to HouseMusik.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I hope you had a great flight and could relax, because it looks like we were going to have a good party tonight, right?
Yes, the party looks good for tonight. The flight was okay. It was very long today, but I came from Germany, and it was, I think, 19 hours, but okay. I could sleep most of the time, and I'm ready for tonight.
Okay. So, Nick, for those who do not know you yet, which are not that many, I guess, how would you describe your sound, what you play?
I mean, first of all, you mentioned my labels, but the two labels, but I would say the name maybe of the labels, it's Cecile and 8-Bit Records, yes. Which I run for almost 20 years now, and 8-Bit actually over 20 years. And to just describe the sound, these days there's so many different genres, and we are going from house to I wouldn't say tech house. For me it's about the groove, it's about the feeling, and for my partners as well. You know, when we don't specify a track or a EP, it needs to be this. For us, it's first of all important that is the groove, a feeling that the track, a message that sends the track or the EP sends to us. Okay, I would say we go from deep house, which is more like 8-bit deep house, groovy, to tech house, to proper house, to maybe even some groovy techno tracks that can be on Cecile as well. Yeah. Okay. And when you created Cecile back in 2007, what motivated you together with Mark, whom you created the label with? Yes, Mark Scholl is my partner in Cecile, and. The thing was actually that time I already had 8-Bit Records together with Gorge, and we were focusing more a little bit on the deep house side, on the sound, which we both liked at that time. But then we were like, we got sent demos like from Sis and Marcus Fix and some of our actually closer friends from our area, Frankfurt, Mannheim. Johnny D is a close friend of mine. He's from this area. And so at the beginning, I released them on 8-bit, but they were at this time a bit too special, I would say, for the sound we had at this time on 8-bit. So they didn't work out that well like the 8-bit stuff, the classical 8-bit stuff we had these days. And then actually I met Mark, and then we said, okay, let's these tracks, they are so good, they need to come out. And then we decided, okay, let's do a second label, or let's do a label together, because I have two different partners as well in the labels. And and then from the beginning on, it worked really good. And it was the first one was a Marcus Fix EP, and the second then we had Andermar 3000, and then also Sis with Nesrip. Or actually, Nesrip was a later one, but the sound was really, it catched up. And this time there was Groove Magazine, which was the biggest German dance music magazine. There was an award of the year for the record, I think. There was, there was also another label from our friends, was called Oslo Records, also from Mannheim. And then somehow the Groove Magazine picked up the sound, Mannheim sound. They named us, they gave us the sound. They gave Mannheim. You the name, okay, yes, okay. In an interview, they put us on the front cover. invited us to Watergate, which was the biggest honor we could get that time for the Groove Party at Watergate, which was one of the biggest party that year, in the year at Watergate. They invited us, and from then on, it just exploded everything.
Like opening a label, because a lot of people or DJs want to start their own label. What were the biggest challenge of starting a label back then in 2007?
I mean, to start a label is not a big challenge. I mean, of course, you have to decide, because back in the days it was more focused. I mean, there was not a digital market at all, much. It was about vinyls, and then later on, just like the Beatport thing slowly started, and the Spotify didn't exist that time, so it was about like, okay, how many vinyls we're gonna press, because the costs, are gonna sell that much, because these days we were speaking about like starting with 1,000 vinyls up to 10,000 vinyls. It was a proper amount of vinyls we sold on the labels, but of course you had to calculate, okay, are we gonna sell this amount or not, how many we do, or otherwise you lose money. So that was kind of the thing. But in after all the years, I would say the bigger challenge in the labels is to create an artist roster, which constantly can deliver the music that you like, and give the label a face outside of just like the releases. Also say, okay, this guy is an artist that always releases on Cecile, or it always releases on 8-bit, and it gives the whole label a face, because if you just like say, okay, every release is from a different artist, and then you don't have exactly as well like you don't give the label a brand or a face
or a sound
as well. And but as well, sorry to say this, but as well, and then as well, it's important that a lot of artists, they change also their sound within the years, and then they don't fit on the label anymore. Even you supported them for a couple of years, and you said, okay, we're gonna create something, and then we maybe want to do like showcases as well and stuff. But then they start doing different sound. I mean, we all know that the sound always changing, and either we have to go with it, or we have to find a new direction which we want to go with a label, or we just keep it, and then it gets boring for a time, maybe for the people. Can also be.
Sure. And then Cecile, after a very successful time, you took a time out. And so what motivated you to bring Cecile back?
It was actually a time where we said, okay, like, yes, me and my partner Mark, we were not clear which direction we should go. We had some discussions, between us as well because of the sound. Then we decided, okay, let's take a break. And we took a break, which was good for us because we skipped this period with sounds which we were not comfortable with.
Okay.
And later on, we became closer again. And then we said, hey, look, there's so many people asking about this label and stuff, we need to bring it back. And then actually we found demos with these guys like Easttown, Rule, these young Dutch guys, which we said, hey, this is exactly our sound, which we started with. This is the sound we want to represent the label again. And so, this is, and this is for me as well, as Nick Curley, I was struggling over the years to say, okay, where I'm going to go with the sound, because I was releasing on so many different labels, so many different genres. And I never found at this period really myself in the sound that I actually really want to do.
Okay. Do you think also that nowadays that young newer generations are rediscovering that sound of that time?
Yes. It's luckily it was just the gap was just enough that these younger kids can still remember us, which is the thing, because I mean, as I said, we're talking about 20 years. Yeah. These guys are like 23, 24, 25 years. Some of them were not even born when we started the label. So that means, okay, and then of course the first 10 years in their life or first 15 years in their life, they had no access to this kind of music because of course they were too young to go out or to listen to electronic music. And now they still found the access to to our music, which is a big honor, to be honest. And then as well, I'm so happy to have them in my team, and that they actually connect with us.
And when you produce your own music, do you have a different approach now for Cecile or for 8-bit? How does that work in the creative process?
No. When I go in the studio, then as well, I just start the idea and I see the idea I have on that day. And then, mostly, as I said, I'm in the studio also with my 8-bit partner, Gorge, and stuff. We have the studio in Mannheim. We see what comes out, of that day, of that vibe and stuff. And then I see where it should come out, where it should come out, if either 8-bit or Cecile or another label. So this is not something. It's all about the vibe at the end. Sure. This is the same with my sets. I'm never preparing a set and say tonight I'm going to play this track after this track after this track. No, I never do this. I know. Okay, of course I have.
You have an idea of
which tonight, for example, here in Santiago, I will play most of the tracks from these folders because I picked them. This is upcoming stuff. It's releases or music I really feel at the moment. But I'm sure I did the same like last weekend, and I picked the tracks in a different selection than I will do tonight. I mean, especially tonight, I'm playing a back-to-back set with Manda Moore. So it will be a new experience. And
have you played with her back-to-back before?
Yes, we did like 3-4 times already.
Oh, so you have a good connection, which I think is very important for back-to-back.
Yes, even sometimes I think because she does Mucha, our sound is a little bit different, what we do on the label, but it's good. The symbiosis goes together, This is a good how we meet in the middle, and this is perfect,
Sure.
So yes, we are close friends, and we're actually planning. We just were on the phone also with Cyrus, and from Moonchild, and Mark from my label, my partner, maybe doing something together this year for. Yeah, okay. 80.
When I was researching for this interview, I saw that you played the first time in 2009 here in Chile, which I mentioned when we were on the back here to the studio. What is your impression on how the Chilean music scene, electric music scene, has developed from 2009 to 2025? Because you're almost twice or 3 times a year in Chile.
Yeah, in my opinion, I mean, it was always great to come here, always. And I really loved it. The people that soak up the music, they're basically here, all the bigger names from this type of music, would say, they come from Chile, like Luciano or Ricardo, and these guys, they are from here, so that if they affected a lot the audience here. But what has changed, I would say, over the last years is like the scene has grown outside of Santiago, outside of Concepcion or
Pucón, where you played in the summer.
Pucón, I'm not sure if Pucón was always a spot that was there in January or...
Pucón works like the first 2 weeks of February, which is the high season where everybody goes south, and because that's when you have the best weather in that area in northern Patagonia.
But also places like La Serena or something like this, like they are making bigger events now and stuff, I never, at least for me, I never played there before, even like all the years I come here, but it was always Santiago or Valparaiso or Concepcion or something like that. Sure. Yeah.
What are the recommendations of you for new artists or somebody who would like to send you a demo to Cecile or 8-bit? What are you looking for, and how should they approach you? Because I did the same question to Francisco Allendez, which I interviewed last week, and he said he's receiving a lot of music which he thinks is not for the label. Is that something that happens to you as well?
Yes, of course. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of music which people think, I've made a track for 8-bit or a track for Cecile. It's exactly the sound, and I had this in mind. I mean, basically, this is already a mistake when someone says, look, this track sounds like the last track you have released on the label. I mean,
that should not happen.
That should not happen because, first of all, I don't need a second release that I already had and, copy another artist. But there is a big amount of music which I think which I personally think, okay, why are you sending this to me? Because this has, in my opinion, nothing to do with the sound that we are doing on the label, either on 8-bit or on Cecile. And I don't even show it to my partners because they would think the same,
Sure.
So, yes, to how to catch me, sometimes there's also luck, of course, because I'm checking often demos, SoundCloud links I get sent on Instagram, or we have on Cecile, for example, we have on our website, we have a demo platform where people can send us upload links and we check them. Of course, we cannot handle all of them anymore because it's too many. But sometimes we do it, and then sometimes we are lucky to pick the right ones,
So how many time do you still spend on listening to music, new music?
Basically, I'm listening to music in all the free times. On the weekends at the airport, I do a first selection. Sometimes when I'm walking my dogs or stuff, I have my phones and I'm going through, the messages or the platforms which are the demos uploaded. It's just also a feeling, Basically, Mondays mostly. After the weekends, I need a day or 2 days off for my ears and not listening to electronic music. But then it's also a feeling for me, which I was like, okay, I'm excited to listen to more. But at the moment, for example, the problem is that we're having so many good music. Basically, we get sent so much good music that even we don't have the space to release it anymore. Because on Cecile, we're still doing vinyls. A vinyl to produce a vinyl takes 4 to 6 weeks still. And as well, we want to have minimum 3 till 4 weeks in between every release, which means like we can do only one release per month.
Okay.
And that is like 12, maximum 13 releases per year, which is, not that much.
Sure.
When I want to do maybe 2 of myself. And then as well, we have some people in like, which I call them like kind of residents, like East Town maybe, Rule, these guys, which say, okay, they are our artists which we trust in, and they always release on the label. They give them 1 or 2 slots, or like in 8-bit. We have even like Butano, Gino Negro, these guys, Fioretti. And then also we have Gorge and myself. This is already 4 artists. Yeah. And if I want to give them everyone at least 1 or 2 slots, then half of the year is already full.
So maybe another label as well, or with 2 is enough?
Yeah, but I know I also need. Maybe there is something new in planning, but it's not something like which I want to talk about at the moment. Because at the end, I rather do less and keep the quality, and be 100% sure. We are really tight now at the moment. What we gonna do on the label. Okay.
After more than 20 years, like doing what you do, traveling a lot, producing music, how do you balance? I'm not sure if it's balance, but now how you get energy back? Do you do a lot of sports, or what do you do to keep with that rhythm you're having at the moment?
Yeah, basically it's very important to do sports or walking. I like walking. I have 3 dogs at home, so I walk them every morning, and then I do basically riding my bicycle, go swimming in the sea. This is I try to walk maximum I can every day, let's say. Okay. I also used to go to the gym, but I'm not making it much these days. But I try to do some little exercises in the hotel room, outside in the park or whatever, like every day.
Also, but you just said that, for example, on Mondays, Tuesdays, you need to relax your ears, which I think is a very important issue nowadays. When you play, do you use earplugs as well? Or
sometimes, it depends.
Is it difficult to play with the earplugs? I've never tried it. So I don't know.
It's if you walk in when you wear them, you need to wear them from once you walk in the club, you have to have them in the ear already. That's
so your ears get used to it.
Your ears get used to it, and they say, okay, this is the level that exists in this club. If if you are there already, and then you plug them in, then the sound goes low. That's my feeling. But in general, okay, if the sound is good, it's clear, and I want to get fully into that sound, then mostly I don't use them now. Basically for me, the hardest is like after the party, when people come to me and scream in my ear, which is louder than the music is, then I need the earplugs.
Sure. If you had to describe Cecile to somebody who does not know the label, how would you describe Cecile?
With Cecile, we're building a brand, a brand for good music, for good events, and with a groovy house sound, emotional music, music that want to make you dance. This basically is the thing I'm trying to do on both labels.
Okay.
Now this is it needs to catch me. It's the music that I want to play in my sets, and or I want to listen in my car. And it doesn't always need to be a club track. It can also be a track. I mean, when I sign an EP, I always try to put the tracks into different time zones per night. Maybe even one track is like, okay, something for the car. I'm not playing this most of the time in the club, or it's too low basically. But it can be emotional. It can be a good vocal, or something I like to listen in the car more, because I'm the person actually that likes to listen to more to like softer music, let's say, in the car.
Yeah, but when you're not in a club, I like to something
exactly, or at the airport, or it depends when I'm after. That's what I'm saying. I need to balance it out.
Sure.
When you have all these 127, 28 BPM all weekend, then it's better to calm down a little bit Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, of course. Where do you see Cecile in the future? Where would you like it to be as a label?
As I said, as the label, it goes really well, and I think we go in there to stay as a top label as it is already, and maybe even growing a little bit more. But as I said, I hope I can make it to a big brand, as well. I get it, maybe label showcases all around the world, which we're already doing. Maybe a residency somewhere in interesting places like Ibiza or something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the top what you can reach, let's say.
And looking back since the beginning of Cecile, which is the part you're most proud of the label? I'm
proud of, in general, what we're doing, with my partners, Mark, and also with 8-Bit, with Gorge. It's the releases we already had. We had some super hits, I would say, already. Back in the days, it was the Butch No Worries, the Sis Nesrib, and these tracks were huge hits for the house scene. And then as well, like now we started, even like the actual release on Cecile is the Hector Couto with Alejandro Paz. It's a big thing for Chile.
It's amazing. Yeah.
We managed to get the rights. We talked to Alejandro, and he agreed with us that we can use it. It was an edit act Hector Couto did. He sent it to me like over a year ago already. Okay. And I played it, and I always loved it. Until I played it maybe last year. It was here in La Feria. And then Andre Putano told me, that this is a big hit in Chile, the vocal.
Okay.
And I didn't know it. And I said, okay, it's a Chilean and Alejandro Paz. And he actually made the connection to Alejandro, and we cleared the sample. So yeah, it's good, and I'm very happy, and I think this will be one of the top hits this summer. Plus, there is more to come, which I have signed, but I won't tell you yet.
Yeah, you can. But we may listen to them tonight. We can. What is coming for the future or not?
Of course. I will play a lot of unreleased tracks, and as well, we are after this. We're also doing a summer compilation with many artists like Silvio Lotto and Ariel Rotz and some other guys from Argentina, from Brazil. Classmatic has an amazing track on this compilation and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Amazing conversation with you. And if you want to send any message to our audience, cameras are all yours. So.
My message to the audience is like, if you haven't heard about it yet, to my sets, to my labels, to the parties we're doing, yes, please come over and check it out. It's fun always, and yes, I'm looking forward to tonight. We all do. Yeah. So, Nick, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to HouseMusik, like sharing your experience about 8-Bit, about Cecile, and also about yourself. That was always the idea of HouseMusik, to show a bit more the artists, to talk to them and sharing experience, because at the moment there are so many DJs and producers who are trying to get to the top and listen, or to have recommendations from top artists. Always
good message. So thanks a lot. I know it was the first time, but not the last time. So we see you next time, okay?
See you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.